Hey, thanks for watching. Today we're joined by Mike Porter, the CEO of Landco Power. I'm Josh Farley, president of Redline Electric and Solar. Join me as we talk to contractors, business owners, and experts who are willing to share their experiences to help you overcome obstacles when you're taking your business up and to the right. Mike, thanks for coming in. Tell us what you do and who you do it for.
Well, like he said, Landco Power, we rent generators for about anything. Power up anything, emergencies, telecommunications, breaker testing, industrial, about anything. We also throw in a lot of special events too, which we don't mention very often.
Right? You don't like doing the
No,
parties?
we love doing the parties. They're just a little labor intensive. The weekends, a lot of weekend work.
Right.
But we've got great customers to do them, but we do those also.
So that's where we have the same license as far as the ROC goes, but you're in a different niche than I am. So we met on an emergency basis. So
Yes.
Nights and weekends, that's what I figure your specialty is, nights and weekends, because when power goes down, there's no time frame on that.
Correct. We do have an electrical contractor's license, but basically what we went and got it for is to pull permits, because we do a lot of work with guys like Redline Electric, and so what we do is we normally show up, hand them the tails, and while they're working on that part of the gear, we're running out the cable,
Yep.
dialing the generator in, and then right before we fire up whatever you guys have been working on, we'll verify rotation, make sure everything's right, and then we'll turn the generator on. It's myself that knows a little bit and a lot about the electrical business, but every switch gear, every panel, everything's different. So I've chose to not deal
Right.
with that end of the business. We'll just turn it on.
Gotcha.
You know?
But you're there. The quick response is crazy. I offer my customers satisfaction guarantee speed. We do a 2-hour emergency response time. I feel like you guys are 15, 20 minutes. I mean,
You know what? When power's out, time is an eternity.
right.
You know, we've powered up resting homes and hospitals where people need us. They're like, this is their last place they're going to be and their families. So we understand that time is of the essence once we get the call.
Gotcha.
I mean, we've been at the point where I think you have called us, said, hey, we've got this size service down. I'll call you when I get there to see what we need. Well, we've already got guys up, awake, ready to go,
Right.
or even at the yard loading the truck, and then at least we'll get you the gear so you're tying in, and then we'll figure out what size generator it is.
So when you hire guys, do they know that that's what's expected of them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or do you kind of rotate that stuff?
Yes, we do. We finally have enough guys that we have an on-call schedule.
Yep.
But when it's a big job, we're calling everybody,
Right.
and even myself. I mean, I powered up Intel, the construction power out there, and I was the one out there,
Right.
throwing the cable around. So but I do have a good core of guys. They are, with the new on-call schedule, it's call all cars when it's an emergency.
Right.
And it's kind of like throwing something to the ceiling, see what sticks.
Right.
And then we'll go from there.
Every interview I do, it's always, hey, we have an on-call rotation. We switch it off, but at any given moment, we're going to need some help. We're going to call everybody. So if
Right.
you're not out of town, you're coming to work.
Right.
How do you keep your guys happy?
You know what? It's been a challenge, because our industry is very trying.
Yep.
I try, and if they leave, they leave. I don't have an answer for that. I have a one head guy that's been with me forever, and I take care of him, and he takes care of the guys. I've had to back myself out of employees because I get too close with them, and then there's a lot of animosity, like, oh, Mike's on vacation, or Mike's got this, and so I've had to distance myself and put a buffer between my employees, and it seems to have worked out. We've had guys want to come back, and we've hired guys back, but I don't think I do anything special except that I offer the health insurance. We're working on getting a 401k or a, what is it?
IRA.
Yeah, something like that.
I gotcha.
And we give all the guys trucks, and they're allowed to drive them anywhere in the state of Arizona. but also that helps us that their truck's at home and they've
They're
got
ready
fuel.
to go.
Yeah, so I'm still working on the employee thing.
Gotcha.
You know,
Hey, we're always working on it.
And listening to your last guest, it's you take stuff away, and I've read the Southwest book Nuts, and that's what I've always tried to do is make it a fun place, happy place to work.
Right.
But personalities clash, and I might rub somebody wrong. I don't, and
Well, that's why you create a culture and you hire by that culture, and then it just kind of is the base guidelines for that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about pulling yourself away from employees. So I've had to do that too. I've become, because I empathize with my employees and I'm friendly and we talk, and the next thing you know, they're a little bit too involved in how the vision is going. Like they want to take your vision and they want to influence that vision, and sometimes it doesn't. There's not a good happy medium there. So I found that pulling back from my employees in some aspects is a great value. So if you're out there and you think you're too close to your employee, if you think that, then you are. You want to make sure that there is some boundary because you are the employer, you are the authority there, and it's your vision that you're on path to. Let's talk about how you started. How did you get started in Landco?
Well, I got conned into this business, and I'm just kidding about that. But I started at Sun State Equipment, and they were starting a power division, they called it the special event division. And I was young, liked going to all the festivals, liked my dad was an electrician, uncles were electricians, so I was raised in the electrical business. So I went and helped out on an event, and I was hooked.
Right.
I don't know who was playing that event, but I was hooked. And then as it progressed, we got into the construction, the cell phone industry. They needed power everywhere, so we got to travel. And Sun State was great, but they were corporate, and they were going corporate because of some stuff. So we talked a young guy into starting Guerrilla Fuel and Guerrilla Power, and from 97 to 01 we worked for Sun State and then went to Guerrilla.
Gotcha.
And then he wanted to retire by the time he was 50.
Right.
So he sold the company
Well,
for oodles of money.
That'd be
Oodles of
nice.
money. Yeah.
Jeez. I like oodles of money.
Yeah, and I stayed on, and the company just changed. And plus we were going through that recession.
Right.
And
well, that's what happens when you have when you get a different leader in there. Like Joe Hitzel said on my last episode, he said the leader that changes the culture, and that changes everything downstream.
Yeah, and this guy couldn't lead himself out of a wet paper bag. This new guy, so they called me in and let me go. And of course, I had a company truck, insurance.
Yep.
My family was sort of new, or the kids were new. Of course, I went into a panic. Got driven home, unloaded my truck. Went in and was tearing up to my wife, and I called my old man. Been a huge help through business and everything. My dad's been great. And I called him. He goes, "Quit your snibbling and go get a cell phone." And I said, "All right." So I went and got a cell phone and gave it to certain people. Well, the next day I get called from one of my old customers. They said, "Hey, that panel that you rented me up in Northern California, it wasn't named a 3R. I said, "I told you that. It wasn't." And he goes, "Well, those dumbasses over at so-and-so said they don't know what they're doing." I said, "Well, give me 20 minutes."
Right.
I called him. I called my buddy Matt over at IES and said, "Hey, you have one of these panels? Name it." He said, "Yeah." And I went and bought a dolly, welded it to it, put some breakers into it, put some tails, and they came and picked it up, and it was on rent for 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, like $900 a month.
So you didn't have a choice but to create an LLC just for that one?
Just for that. And
Wow.
then about a week later, I got called that an RV park was down. So, I mean, my tickets were written on lined paper.
Right.
And I was having people sign them. And then, I went down and I wanted to name the company, Power Rentals, but some little mom and pop shop had it reserved. Yeah. And so my dad's construction company in California was Landco Construction. Well, all the artwork was done. All the employee handbooks were done. Everything was done. So it became Landco Rentals. And then later on down the way, I changed it to Power because I didn't want to be in anything else.
Gotcha.
I have a belief that, you're going to be good at one thing be good at it 100%.
So you had to get out of the party stuff.
Yeah, because I was calling
all
for
access backstage to see the celebrities, right?
Right, yeah, there's the celebrities, yeah. So we, got calls, and the economy was terrible.
Right.
But I was busy because I had nothing. Right. So if you can make it in a bad economy and grow back with the economy, it's just the sky's the limit. Yeah. So that's what happened to me,
Gotcha. I'm familiar with that. We started, my kid was born, I was like, quit my job, it's 2009. Like, man, what an awful place, but that's awesome. So looking back now, what would you have done different? What were some of the struggles that you had that you may be able to help some guy to avoid?
Well, I mean, the start, you hire a good lawyer and a good collections guy and have them, because they're always there to help. And then, I just, just tell the truth. I mean, I've always just told the truth because, hell, I don't want to remember my stories.
Right.
And
do you pre-lean your projects?
You know what? I do. And on a bunch of them, I wish I would have. But, I get comfortable with, like, you and other customers that I have, and I don't.
Right.
And I feel like I'm always going to hurt one of their feelings if I pre-lean their job. And then I found out over the years that
it's business.
It's business. Right. You know what I mean? So I sometimes forget. When I had a gal working for us in the office, she was pretty good about that. But
right.
I need to do better at it.
Gotcha. So what do you think contractors as a whole, like a contractor community, what do you think they should be doing better?
You know what? I would think use me. That's how I would think. But, because I'm not in that role.
Gotcha.
More of the rental and stuff. But I think
you work for, so contractors come, they call you.
Yes.
You come out.
Yes.
Like, tell us some traits that you see you wish maybe they would have changed or because feedback from me, any positive, negative, it's all going to help us look at our business in a different outlook.
You know what? Basically, with the contractors is what you're calling for. When they call us, they know what they're calling for. Out on site, it's basically I wouldn't know what to say or give them any.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you don't have that interaction. That's fine. Okay, let's switch gears. What are the plans for the future? Are you trying to build this and give it to your children? Are you trying to build this and sell this?
Well, I think that's everybody's dream is to build a company and pass it on to their children. You got to make sure your kids, I'm a firm believer that my kid's going to start sweeping the floor
right
from the bottom and work their way up.
Right.
And they might not be interested in this. So, you know what? I might build it up and give it to an employee or employees.
Sell it to an employee?
I might just give it to them, sometimes when you just have enough, and plus I've got a really good guy that works for me, and I think he would do a great job. Or we sell it and we go start doing something different.
Right. Have you ever thought about quitting? You ever thought about just shutting it down, doing something different?
Yeah.
What would you do?
Build trophy trucks.
What do you mean by that?
Off-road trucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But, I'm not, I don't know anything about that, but that's, if I'm laying in bed and I get that call, hey, you need to get out here. I was like, it'd be cool to start building some trophy trucks,
Tell me what keeps you up at night. What do you struggle with as far as taking your business to the next level?
Owing people money.
Okay.
Ever since I owned my business, I've bought stock in ZQuil. You know what I mean? So I never had a problem sleeping working for somebody, but being self-employed, knowing that I owe somebody money or payrolls due or, and it's few and far between.
Yeah.
But, I'm a firm believer in paying my vendors. I'm not one of those guys that, hey, I'm waiting to get paid.
Right.
So it puts a lot of stress on myself and my wife. She just wants me to go back to work. But that's the biggest thing is owing people money.
Gotcha.
Because I don't know how people can owe me money or screw me out of money. Right. I don't know how they sleep at night, but there's people out there, and I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what keeps me up at night.
I've been thinking about developing developing a place for contractors to go to review their customers, because I've been robbed by customers plenty of times, and if there was just an outlet, so for me to put that, so I'm trying to create something now to where I can list these people online without getting sued, maybe a membership or like a private group,
Right.
to where you can just check them out before you say, all right, I'm gonna send you out there.
Yeah.
I mean, because if I knew then what I know now, I'd probably be able to afford a trophy truck.
Yeah.
How do you get new customers?
Beg, please.
What does that mean?
I'll tell you, you know what? With all these big guys that I compete with, it sucks because the lowest bidder always gets the jobs when we bid. But you know what? I go out and shake hands and kiss babies.
Right.
And and do good work to begin with. Word of mouth is a huge thing for us.
Right.
It's just that's what we do.
Right.
You know?
Organic growth. So you're
Yeah.
not flyering, you're not doing
We-
anything specific?
No, it's basically going out and meeting, and when I start panicking about money, I send a couple guys out and I go hit it, and
Right.
then the minute I'm out of the office, the phone starts ringing, and
Yep.
boom, we're back and busy again.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
that's basically how we do it.
Okay.
You know.
So tell our viewers how they get a hold of you.
All right. You can look at our website, which is landcopower.com, or you can email me at mporter@landcorentals.com, or you can call me 480-318-1476.
Great, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. It was a pleasure.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you like what we're doing here, subscribe to our podcast at iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, and to our YouTube channel to see more episodes. Go to upandtotheright.org to get all the links.